Hello, it's me. I've thought about us for a long, long time. Maybe I think too much, but something's wrong. Din, din, din. It's Rusty Shackelford and S87, the Fast Twitch Maniacs. This is my first monetized live, thanks to the amazing viewership for the video with Dale and Brad. Although that wasn't monetized because the Soundgarden or one of those songs, Like a Stone, not Soundgarden, whoever that band is, but got it demonetized. But with the sick amount of views, it pushed me over to the threshold to now the channel's monetized again, so I can make my $20 every 2 months like last year. Yeah, everybody pray. Today's the National Day of Prayer here in the United States, so pray for little Ethel the kitty. Pray for a spiritual revival in this country, a doctrinal revival amongst the churches. None of this woke BS. Blink 182 and Sum 41 were in the background. Yeah, there was a lot of, it's, mainstream music, so. Broccoli heads were screaming about benching 135 today at Kaizen Productions gyms. What else is new? Every time I go in the locker room at Broccoli Head Central, aka Crunch Fitness, there's a broccoli head posing in the mirror. Blaha reps. Blaha reps. Serge Tankian from System of a Down. Yeah. See Nirvana 1. I'm with you, brother. Let's pray for some decent women who don't think raising children and cooking is taboo. Huh. Good luck. You guys need to check out Taylor the Fiend's YouTube channel. It's just endless content of women ranting and raving on TikTok, how there's no good men in the world. It's so illogical and irrational. It's just crazy. Flex Cavana said he saw a teenage today with a hair that looked like a sombrero. I might be tempted if I could grow a head of hair myself to have a broccoli head. Who knows? Will monetization result in more videos? I just don't have any ideas for anything. I could. Stefan wants to videotape because he's going to start making progress because he's in a bulk cycle. So I can start filming training at his lair with no music. But I don't know what else. What other content? I wish I can get together with like Brad, Dale, Lenny, those guys a little more because that gets a lot of views. But I'll try to do more. Might as well now that there's slightly more incentive. When will I be at Powerhouse Gym? The one down there in Delray? I don't know. If, and it's a big if, I did go down there, it'd be in the fall or winter, later in the year. Bronco Brothers hit the beach to pick up some tans. I don't know about that. Yeah, I could do more live streams, at least weekly or bi-weekly. We could always talk about current events. Broccoli was ashamed when Blankerson walked in the locker room and saw him taking photos in the mirror. He wants to know why he wasn't ashamed when he was alone. What did you guys think of William Broccolini? He's pretty strong, isn't he, that kid? He was off the chain when we went to lunch with Dale. He was mouthing off to him, saying he has a midlife crisis. You guys ready here? Well, not just in the States, I guess everywhere. It's shaping up like Trump versus Biden again. You guys ready to see some of those debates? Can we do no better than those guys to run this country? The girl apparently is like on the social media team for that Mountain Island Fitness, Dorian. She comes up to us. We're getting ready to warm up. She's like, "Hi, I'm going to be filming you guys today for the Mountain Island Fitness Instagram page, I guess." I don't know. I'm not on Instagram. You guys can go. I don't know if she did, stories or actual videos of us, if it's still up on their Instagram page. That's right, Edgar. Stray Strength 650 is the channel he works for. But a typical gal running the mouth, attention seeking. Who else is going to do it besides Trump? I don't know. Yeah, I would have said DeSantis, but he's not polling too well. But if they didn't let Trump win it last time, do you really think he's going to win it? If he's still claiming, the election was rigged. I heard him in a speech in New Hampshire or something. So, I mean, if he believes that, people believe it. It's like, what makes him think it's going to be any different this time? But I think we're too spiritually far gone in this country, no matter who gets elected. Of course, I'm going to vote and do my part, but I mean, everything, anywhere I look, I don't know. I'm going to say I'm a black-pilled Christian, but the male-female dynamic, I just saw the Better Bachelor's got a good channel here on YouTube, but gals are freezing their eggs because they can't find good men to have children with, because they all want that top 10, 20% of men, good looking, rich, 6 foot tall and above, but they don't want them because they're average and they're, not traditional women. So they have nobody to mate with. So the population is going to decline here. And that goes for probably Australia, the UK, you name it, Western Europe. Exactly, Blank. Politics is no different than a pro wrestling storyline. Yeah, DeSantis isn't conservative enough to ignite the masses. So, I don't know. Like I told the gals in my leasing office today, I said we need to be more like China with these infractions of these people in this apartment that are warned for certain things, certain behaviors when they don't listen. Or the Middle East, what do you think they do to them? You're a Londoner and you're going to be meeting a chick in Arizona, a gal. There's a misfit. He may show up on here. His name is, the hell's his name? Timothy Wickberg. He lives in Flagstaff, Arizona. Gets real cold there, believe it or not. I'd like to go to Arizona. It's real hot, but they have nice winters. But there's some big cities there, so I would imagine it's nice. It's a bigger city than where I live. I've only went as far as the Hoover Dam, so. Mr. G is the Biden of Delray. I have Bootsy the cat here in the apartment, but the stray cats are across the street. Wrathbringer, Stop the Tate says, maybe I can't find a woman, which I'm not looking. It's like playing the lotto, I guess. A warped lotto with women, but like they say, you got to play to win the lotto. You have to buy a ticket, which I don't. But I don't look for women. I'm not on dating sites. I have better things to do. But I wasted my life chasing a make-wish bodybuilding career at Lenny is why I can't find a woman. Well, with that logic, what about all the guys that didn't waste their lives, that have college degrees, trades, they didn't get into bodybuilding, they still can't find women. They're looking for women. They've been on the dating sites. What does it say for them? Hot as balls. Yeah, my aunt lived in Arizona. If you leave a loaf of bread on the counter, it dries up so quickly and gets moldy. So because the humidity is just next to nothing. Thoughts on Midget Dale doing machine rows on his feet. Dale's got an impressive mass and strength. but like me, he's a little too blocky to ever go really far in bodybuilding. But for 40, hey, he's big and strong. He's a very generous host whenever I go up there too. Pray for PJ, everybody, you believers in Christ. He's got his law school finals tomorrow, so pray. You have to do the preparation, but God will give you peace of mind to relax and settle in and take that exam, blow them away. If it's his will for you to go on and succeed tomorrow and move on to the next step in your career in Christ's name. It's how you finish life, Phil says. Exactly. Thank you for the donations. Shout out to 9 of Aesthetic Affliction and Coyote Fit. My first 2 super chats of the new year. Appreciate it, fellas. Exactly. Tales from the narc side. I agree wholeheartedly. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So vocation's important. Obviously, if you don't work, you don't eat. There are exceptions, disabilities and whatnot, but it's just a small sliver of time we're here. We're vapors. So it's nothing, a speck of sand, not even an hourglass of eternity. Yeah, best of luck, PJ. Preparation's the key. Just relax. Make sure you get a good night's sleep. Hydrate. Good breakfast. I don't know if I would do any caffeine or nootropics unless you know how you're going to react with them. But study before bed too. They say that's the best way to lock some of it into your memory, so it's fresh in there when you wake up the next day. But we need good lawyers in this country or wherever you are. Everybody needs a good lawyer. I don't think the Antichrist is here yet, TJ, but everything's lining up for him to arrive. One world currency. All you hear is doom and gloom here in the United States about a recession and the loss of the value of the dollar and buy gold. Still, I'm looking for egg whites. I can't find them. Certain foods are still scarce at the store. So I think everything's right for the Antichrist, but he's not here quite yet. Soon. I hit legs today too, New Jersey Misfits, some squats, some hack squats. PJ, eat, sleep, and grow. Did Bard booze it up down there? I didn't. Well, I only went Wednesday, and then I left. Brad was there the whole week, but him and Dale mentioned getting to go to some country bar Friday night. But the weather was crap all week. It was raining all week long. This week was nice. You on Prozac? No, I'm not. Do I wish I never took gear? Some days I do. I don't dwell on it. Thanks for the shekels, Flex Kavana. I did use BPC 157. I didn't really see anything from it. Maybe I didn't take enough. But I didn't use a TB500 because something I read about it where it could proliferate cancer cells in mice studies, of course, but doesn't mean it always correlates to humans. But I was a little leery of that. I've heard good things about BPC, but I didn't see any tangible results. But back to the question. Some days I kind of do wish I didn't take gear, but I caught, plaque in time. So, like I say, I'm not going to go a second before God wants me to. But every night when I got to take all these heart meds, I'm kind of pissed off. But I did it to myself. So, and then I wouldn't have this platform if I didn't take gear. I wouldn't have been that strong. Wouldn't have, lifted with Lenny. So I wouldn't be here right now to have some sort of a platform to send a good message about Christ. So quite a few, buddies from Dale. Stefan Pollock. Yeah, I remember you, the big Aussie. I remember doing the plan. That's good. You could always go back to it and modify a few things. And yeah, I mean, are you doing the strongman, if I'm not mistaken? Nah, that wasn't Brad's kid. Yeah, it was pretty entertaining doing that live, getting together with Brad and Dale. What's more beneficial, 4 sets of 10 to 12 with 315 on squats, or 5 sets of 3 with 405? That's a tough one. I don't know. Mark Ripto would say the 5 sets of 3 or 5 sets of 5, but I think if you did 5 sets of 3 and then you did some auxiliary movements would be the best plan. But there's nothing wrong with 4 sets of 10 to 12. I think you'll grow from that too, as long as it's a challenging, not to where you can do way more than that. What do you think about that, Dale? Appreciate it. Dale's like an inch or two shorter than me. I'm 5'8". Thoughts on Haftor's pec tear? There's a good channel. It's Dr. Sutterer or something like that here in the United States. He's a sports medicine physician, but he does reaction videos when football players, basketball players, or Haftor. He went over his injury. He speculated that he just got back into training and maybe got on some gear, so his muscles were real strong, but his tendons didn't, strengthen as quickly as muscles do, and that's a problem when people take steroids. That's what he said might have been the cause, and he tore the tendon, so it'd be like a 6 to 8 month recovery. It wasn't like mine where I just tore the upper outer pec. So I hope he has a speedy recovery. I don't know about his plans to really do well in the bench press going forward, how it's going to affect that. So I advise the Maniacs to stay natty. I mean, I would say stay natty until you get older, and then you do blood work, and then it reveals you need some TRT. I mean, it's at the end of the day, really. I mean, how many people have the genetics to go far in bodybuilding? Or unless you're one of the top tier people, if you're actively competing and you're doing well, maybe then, the risk is you can justify the risk a little bit more. But I don't know. To take tons of gear for what? I got some trophies to show for it, so I don't know. I hope little Ethel gets better quickly. It doesn't sound good, but I'm probably stronger than Lenny now. He's, his heart's not good. I think he came off everything. I've never had a problem with my triglycerides. My cholesterol was real high when I was on that last cycle before the show I did 4 years ago. So now I got to take 2 cholesterol meds, 2 blood pressure meds, and 2 blood thinners. I don't know if any one of the Misfits still talk to Jason. Dorian Yates and Mike Menser said all you need is 1 set to failure. But then again, no one here is Yates or Menser. But I think they did a lot of workup sets to build up to that 1 set. And then the 1 set included intensifiers like drop sets, rest pause, force reps. But then now people are saying you need more volume than that it's like a hit cult, the high intensity training cult. It's kind of caught on again. So a lot of people are just saying, oh, you only need 1 set. But, I mean, the Alexander Bromley channel, he just did a video on it. He said volume is king. I'm not always positive, New Jersey Misfits, but when I come on here with you guys, I try to exude that. I mean, I have my moments. I mean, I think everybody does. The world we live in now, you're going to have negative moments, but it's all, I think a spiritual belief, born again Christian, gives me hope. We're not here forever. It's a small speck of time. So, but up there in New Jersey, yeah, it probably is a mind screw. Dane, 5'5". Met in, I don't remember Dane in Vegas. Oh, maybe, yeah. I think the Instagram was a different name, but no, I'm 5'8", maybe 5'7.5", 5'7.75". The broad was the camera girl from, she does the social media for the Mountain Island Fitness Center where Dale trains. I forgot her name. Brad called her Stephanie Spielberg or something. Alonzo, I appreciate it. I like the Ultimate Warrior better than Hogan, but I respect Hogan's career. I liked him more when he was in the NWO. I think he played the heel pretty good, but I always liked the Ultimate Warrior. Quick matches. He had the face paint. Did Dale ever apologize for ruining that family's roof? Which roof? I don't know about that. No, I don't watch Mike O'Hearn's memes. How often should you change your squat routine? Depends what your goals are. Well, I mean, you should always be trying to get stronger, but I felt like I was growing with what I was doing in Stefan's secret lair. I was doing a couple warm-up sets, one heavy set to failure, and then one back off set, like 20 reps, constant tension, and then some auxiliary work. And I felt like it was working for me for well over a month. Like I was getting stronger. My quads were visibly bigger. But I mean, if you're getting stronger and you're seeing gains, whatever body part, or your legs in this case, keep it going. If it's stagnating, you may want to look at other things like, eating, sleeping, etc. But I don't know if there's a certain set, like 6-8 weeks, change it up. I mean, me and Lenny, when we started training, did the same thing week in, week out for a long time. We kept getting stronger and stronger. Of course, we were on gear. But, I mean, if you're keeping track of things and seeing, if you're making incremental gains, and keep with it. Do I think the monsters and giants documented in the Old Testament are real? I do. Kind of like that movie 300. Remember the giant? That Big Lenny said me and him were going to be like the giant from 300, all arthritic, swinging that thing, swinging a club. I do think so. I think it was more genetic, some sort of genetic reason behind it, where they were like much bigger people. I'm sure if you research it, you'll find that they found like massive bones and evidence of giants in certain places. I've been on the statins 4 years. Thankfully, I do fine with them. I take ubiquinol. Was I surprised with how strong Jay Masters was when I first met and saw him? No, because I've seen it. I've seen him on the videos with the Misfits. I knew he was strong. Even to this day, for his age, I'll give him credit for 50 whatever years old. But there's always somebody bigger and stronger, like Wayne Van Nostrand. He's in South Carolina on the coast, but does 500 for reps, and he's like 53 years old. His son's a good bencher too. Kaizen Productions has a theological question. Would people with mental disabilities be free from them in the afterlife? Like Genova, would he be normal when he reaches the pearly gates? Of course. The Bible explicitly says that no more sickness, no more illness in the afterlife. We'll be given perfect bodies. A lot of scholars say the age is about 33 when Christ was crucified. Like a Christian, for somebody who was a Christian their whole life, and they get Alzheimer's, they're not going to go to heaven and have Alzheimer's in heaven. So how God's going to do it, I don't know. We don't have the capacity to think about it. Do I think HCG during TRT has any performance enhancing effect? You could do it towards the end, I guess, when you say you're going to come off, you're at 8 weeks and you're going to do 12 weeks. Maybe weeks, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 10, 11, 12, you start it. That way you're already starting the process of, getting the luteinizing hormone up, where your brain's sending the signal to your testes to start producing again. This guy was a massive wrestler in Florida in the late 90s before I met Lenny. He told me to do that. He was a big bouncer at a strip club and he wrestled in Canada. He told me towards the end when I'm getting ready to come off to start taking ACG. But I mean, I don't know if that's verified in like scientific literature, if it will actually do it since you're still taking exogenous tests. But that would be my answer is for if you're planning on coming off and you're meticulously planning, okay, I'm going to get my production going again so I don't crash as hard. That may be the way to do it. But other than that, I don't think it's very strong in and of itself, like another anabolic or androgenic steroid that it's going to add so much to the stack you're doing. Breathing for heavy sets. I mean, today, big inhale in. Try to do it through the belly and bracing, like Squat University says, where you're pushing out your obliques, not like pushing your belly out forward, but like trying to brace to the sides of the belt. It's hard to explain. I don't have it down pat, believe it or not. All these years I've been lifting, but why are you eating dog food, Crane Driver? No, I don't. You can get quality human grade meats, I'm sure, and eggs for cheap if you look around. Was the kid in the workout Brad's son? No, he's just a gym rat there that Dale trains with. Thank you, Mark J. Thanks for joining the live here. Team Udos, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. Meow Man started taking red yeast rice for cholesterol. Basically, it's like a mild statin. That's really the best thing you'll get over the counter for cholesterol. Niacin may boost your HDL, but the red yeast rice may actually work on the LDL. But I would take ubiquinol CoQ10 if you're going to take that for sure. I don't remember, Dane. I met I think a Martin, a Hispanic kid. He was kind of stocky. That was 2018? I'm sure if I saw a picture, I remember. Unless you're the one with the tattoos and you live in Vegas, I think I remember meeting you. How can Brad build bigger calves? Do sets of calf raises in between delivering mail, maybe. Or walk around in high heels. I heard that gets your calves up. Did you really do the butter shakes, New Jersey Misfits? You're hardcore if you did that. Yeah, Scott Steiner had one of the best physiques. I always liked Dino Bravo, Hercules, the Road Warriors. Rick Rude had a good physique. A lot of good physiques back then. I can't watch more than 5-10 minutes of modern day wrestling. Favorite frozen pizza? The Quest pizzas aren't bad. Or the cauliflower crust pizzas. I bought one. I got one in the freezer. I was going to eat it today, but I didn't. It's a buffalo chicken. Get them at Walmart. They got a decent selection. I don't eat them very often, though. Been on 100 mgs of tests per week for 3 months now, and low dose Cialis every week. Feel a lot better. Test was at 210. My test isn't much higher than that. It's like 376, but honestly, other than my sex drive kind of comes and goes, but I have intensity to train. I could, if I apply myself, I can make strength gains, but everybody's different. That's pretty low. That's below normal. So yeah, that's all you need. Little bit of test. That's what I'm talking about when asked earlier. I mean, wait till you actually need to get on the gear, unless you're in the top 5% of competitors as far as physique or strength, and you think it's worth it. Top 5 books I've read. That's a tough one. We'll include the Bible, of course. What Everybody's Saying by Peter Navarro. He was like a FBI agent. talks about how to read body language. Let me get back to this one. Getting behind here. When Dale got into the wreck years ago, his seatbelt disengaged and he was launched to the top of that family's roof. He shifted into third gear. That explains it. All the little memes of them that were on Instagram. Thanks for clarifying. Would I consider going on a plant-based diet to lower cholesterol? I don't think there's enough evidence. The cardiologist said there's some evidence that it helps regress plaque. I don't know. Possibly. Maybe, if I end up having a heart attack and there's more conclusive evidence, but I don't know. For me, it was so much gear and genetics that caused it. Yeah, OG Ghost, we are. Lenny and I've known him since 25 years we've known each other. So that's rare in these days we live in now. Did Lenny get choked up by some 150-pound PM years ago at the beach? Not while I was there. I never heard of that. Mr. Jinx, Bootsy's doing well. She's sleeping in her little bed under my bed. Is there no way to do a cycle without affecting heart in some way? Yeah, not everybody has heart problems, but it's telling, if you know your genetics, your family history, there's a good chance, there's a guy here that competes. He's all worried. My calcium score, to put it in perspective, was over 6,300, whereas anything over 100 puts you at risk of having a heart attack in 10 years. His was like 200 or 300, and he's freaked out. He was texting me. And he's a smaller guy. He only weighed like 150 on stage. And he's younger than me. So, he did quite a few shows over the years. But look at Jay Cutler. He's still alive. No heart problems as far as I know. Ronnie Coleman. And these are guys that took massive amounts. So your genetics kind of dictate. But I think if you did it, a couple, you might accumulate some plaque. But do what you can to mitigate it, as far as cardio, watching what you eat. But while you're on it, if you go get blood work, depending on what you're taking, your labs might be a mess, like your liver, your cholesterol could be up, your good cholesterol could be down. Some triglycerides are high. I never had a problem with high triglycerides. So Ethel, I don't know. Lenny said she hasn't been eating for 4 days. Steven, my mom passed away in January, but thanks for asking. She succumbed after a long battle with colon and liver cancer, but I appreciate the prayers anyway. I can use them, as can my dad and brother. Yeah, I've had many panic attacks, many not fun. No, I never visited Italy. I don't remember meeting Synthol Mark. Apparently we met at the Old World Gym, but I never trained with him. Lenny was more insane than me, always. Somebody once said, Meow Man's a less insane version of Lenny. Oh, yeah. Pierce Brosnan asked, do I ever look back and think how the hell I was 340 pounds back in the day? Yeah, I'm 210 now. I tell my training partner now, Stefan, I was like, geez, because he's like 240 and he's eating a lot. Like a lot of beef, a lot of rice. And I'm like, geez, I can't imagine being 340. Now, 210 and I feel heavy because I was like 195 when I had my knee surgery a couple years ago. I couldn't train legs, so my legs shrunk. But now I'm like 210, 215, and it feels heavy for me. What food to cut out to lower cholesterol? I would say more processed and fried foods. I wouldn't worry too much about red meat and eggs. Keep your high glycemic carbs around your training, before and after training. But I'm skeptical as whether they even impact it. But I say like fried processed foods, I think, that are just not natural to the body of what we've been eating over time, I think. Like meat, eggs, vegetables, I would stick with that. Some oatmeal. Matt's at 1K. Yes, brother in Christ, we got to stick together. We're in the last days for sure. Could be a year from now, could be 100 years, 1,000 years, we don't know. Did you hear Lenny's spitting game to that Jamaican today? No. Willie did a couple evictions / collections, Axel Fuzz. That's a dangerous vocation to get into. You never know, especially these days. With as big as we are, we're lucky nobody pulled a gun on us. Yeah. Lenny gave the druggie arginine and niacin at the southern states in 06, and Lenny said it was crystal meth. And the kid's like, bro, I feel it in the back of my head. And he was doing a push-up to pump up backstage with a cigarette in his mouth. And Lenny goes, I hate this guy. Thoughts on Jay Masters defecating behind the Powerhouse gym despite trying to earn Tim's trust to let him film at his gym. What? How did he put that on video? How do you guys know he did that? Is America in a steep decline, in my opinion? Yes, it is. Not just morally, just the divine institutions of God, family, nationalism, a sense of pride, and what our country is and was. I think, just a lack of respect in the family, broken homes. That, things backwards, things we never thought are being promoted. Good, wholesome, moral things are being denigrated and ripped against and, hated on. I take magnesium glycinate in the afternoon, but it's a good one to take for sleep. But Andrew Huberman says magnesium 3 is good because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. David Lynn, the street preacher. Living Waters is good with what's the little Australian guy with the beard? He has Kirk Cameron on. They go preach to people in Venice Beach. It's a good channel. America has been in decline since Obama. Yeah, probably before that. I'd say since Clinton. Prince filmed Jay's turd. Ooh. Will the financial collapse of 2008 return in 2023? I'm no expert, but to me, just based off like a layman's view, I don't remember it being this bad in 2008 because there was no virus before 2008. So since then, supply chain disruption still to this day, whether they're using that as an excuse, I'm still seeing things not on the shelves, baby food shortages, egg whites, chicken. Of course, the chicken, it was due to some flu with the laying hens. So that's why there's still shortages of eggs and egg whites. I think it's worse now. Plus everything else going on, more technology than the last 15 years, all this AI crap. I think we're in bad shape, the world, not just the United States. Ray Comfort, yeah. Good evening, Mr. Churchill. It was good seeing Dale and Brad. I hadn't seen Brad since the Olympia in 2018. Dale, I saw up there a couple of years ago. I trained with him. Dale's going to come down here and train at the Lair one of these days. Does the old crazy color ever sneak through the cracks? No, I don't. Honestly, I think you could say, getting older. To me, it's just spirituality being transformed day by day, things where I couldn't imagine doing anymore. Not that I judge, people that are doing stuff like that, but no, I'm just getting older, more laid back. Other than when I train, I can't do that. I wouldn't do any of that crazy stuff anymore. I'm in bed. I'm in here at the apartment by 9 o'clock. I hate being out at night. So going out till like 2 or 5 in the morning, like I routinely did, I couldn't do that crap anymore. Like my dad always said, Andrew, nothing good happens after midnight. My routine is today I did legs, shoulders tomorrow, off Saturday, chest and triceps Sunday, and then Monday or Wednesday I'll do back and buys. Was Dale wearing lifting shoes when we trained? No, I don't think he was. They weren't like squat shoes or Automix, so I don't know. Thoughts on Lenny's father? A hard-nosed, old-school guy from Pittsburgh. I never met him. Could you say he was too hard on Lenny and he needs to forgive him? I mean, we don't know the whole story. He's a practicing Catholic, so they need to reconcile at some point, I say. But he gave him a good upbringing. Lenny was to be his protege. He was, looked like he was going to live vicariously through Lenny becoming a college football or maybe pro football star. But I'm sure I let my dad down too, as far as maybe a direction he'd like to see me go, but they have to reconcile. Am I more confident as I get older? Yeah, I think so. More mature, maybe confidence, for example, in like a job interview, or if I did decide to talk to a gal, I don't, put them on a pedestal. They're just humans, flawed, just like the rest of us. So, and no matter what, I interviewed for something last week. It didn't work out. It took an hour and a half of my time to take the test and everything. But it's in God's hands if it's his will for me to get it. And if you look at it through that lens, you're more confident God's going to take care of you and provide. So how did I get into religion in the first place? In 2007, when I had the hernia surgery in Florida, and I was working at a gym, and I had a couple clients that were born again Christians, and they were like witnessing to me, and I'd been raised Catholic, but I wasn't, part of any church or anything or reading the Bible. So, and then when I had the surgery, it was supposed to be routine hernia out that day. Turns out my blood pressure went up. They couldn't figure out why. I was in there 5 days. And so you have a lot of time to think in the hospital, just thinking. And I watched some programs and it just clicked to me. And then, that's when I accepted Christ as my Savior and became born again. I've strayed since, but at the end of the day, I always get led back to it. Advice on quitting porn is tough. It's the most addictive thing for me ever, more than any drug. It's tough. If you live alone, you got a smartphone or a computer or whatever. It's not like you have to go to a XXX video store anymore. But an accountability partner helps. There's online things, secular and Christian, that where you can have an accountability person and kind of confess to them if you want to do something like that. But I don't have any like hard sound answer for, what always works for people. Maybe you're better off just, if you got to get it out of your system, doing it without porn. That way, it's because someone would argue that's good for your prostate, especially as you get older, that it's, if you're not sexually active, you could have prostate issues, a higher likelihood of prostate cancer, but who knows? But that's a tough one. I don't have any concrete answer of how to quit it. Yeah, I met Lenny's brother a couple of times when I ate there for Thanksgiving. I read a little bit about Stoicism. My first cycle was in high school. I took equipoise and Winstrol. I don't know what I was doing, but I grew. Gunsberg thus would vote for Trump if he was an American. Good point, OG Ghost. When you sin or you stray as a Christian, you have that that inner voice, the Holy Spirit urging you to confess it, get back into fellowship with God, and move forward. But yeah, 1 John 1:9, if you confess your sins, he's faithful and just to forgive you and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. But it's a battle every day. We're in the devil's world. You got to battle the devil, the world, the flesh. You did your Catholic confirmation, Thomas? Yeah, that was like a prerequisite to get married in the Catholic Church. I never did it. My oldest brother did it, and he got married in the Catholic Church. But I didn't find to get enough doctrinal teaching from the Catholic Church, or most churches around here anyway, the big mega churches. I learned more from private study, to be honest. But I know I'm not supposed to forsake my assembling with brothers and sisters of Christ. So, is that the real Father joining us? Is that a fake Father account or a real Father account? You guys tell me. NJ Misfits quit porn by quitting that without any of that no fap nonsense. Eventually, you stopped associating the two. Added plus, he could pile drive his gal with way more enthusiasm. Thomas Jackson, you shouldn't be calling anybody father except for your heavenly Father. Father, why'd you take a dump behind the Tim's gym there? That's why I didn't believe in a confession with the priests as a child. All right, slow and getting hitting a little lag here. Is Father still with us? He still doesn't have running water at that gym? Is it officially open, or is it what do they call it? The soft open? Sure. NC Bass Puller, come on, let me know when you're coming to Greenville. We'll train. You gonna make a comeback, Jay, with the bands and chains? You gonna do another bench meet or something? It's open odd hours due to no bathrooms. That's strange. No porta potties outside. When I moved up here in 2008, I was working construction, and there was a lot of Mexican guys out there doing the construction. This one blonde dude from Florida, Shane, he's like, they're leaving Mexican mud pies in there. Was I surprised to find out Jay was the high school football mascot? Really? What was the mascot? 272 division, huh? What are you weighing now? What's fast masters at 45 and up or 50 and up? Are Mexicans the hardest workers in America? No. Most of the guys that work on the power lines here look like white dudes. People that do stuff behind the scenes are not all Mexicans. A lot of white people doing it. You got about 25 pounds to go, Jay. How you gonna drop the weight? You gonna do keto, carb cycling? Charlie Conway's blocked by Jay, so he says it's the real Jay because he can't see his comments. Jay and Andrew, did Kevin Levrone ever beat that bench record from a few years ago? Which bench record are you talking about? Full keto. Father Jay's going to do keto. get down to 275 and go for the Masters bench press record. I'm never a fan of keto, unless you do one refeed day a week where you're doing like high carbs. Seems to help. Jack says nobody in their 50s should be 298. Why? Lenny's heavier than that. He's what, 52, 53? You would think, but if your blood work looks good and your vitals are good, your oxygen, then hey, more power to him. I can't imagine being that heavy. Do you think it's wise to drop weight as you get older? I mean, you want to keep as much muscle as possible. I wouldn't just say just drop weight. Body fat, yeah. But I mean, the more I hear, read and stuff, the importance of doing like 5x5 and some heavy training as you're getting older. I got away from it. I'm starting to incorporate more of it because I'll be 45 in the summer, but you got to keep some heavy lifting in. As much muscle mass as possible, I would think. But body fat, yeah, that's always good to lose a little more body fat. Jay's famous last words, diet starts tomorrow. That's what Tony Hughes always says in his videos too. What's a maintenance dose, Jay? Blasting test and anadrol. Geez. You're donating blood every 8 weeks, I hope. NC Bass Puller. Talking to me or Father Jay? I've done online coaching. I mean, when I was on Instagram, I was more active. If somebody asks me, I'll do it, but I don't really advertise. Stallone looks incredible for his age. 400, that's what Dale's doing. Dale said he's doing 400 T and 400 Primo. 750. Sustanon? Good night, Thomas. I'll always be a non-cookie cutter. Do I think Father can do 505 for a double again? What's your bench now, Jay, for 2? When did you do 505 for a double? Father and Lenny are like immortal. 315 for 10. What does that equate to? 365, 385 maybe for 1 rep max. Did you do the 505 before or after the McLeod boxing match? .405 on camera, but only had 135 pounds in the bar, a little under 300 pounds of bench tension. I'm not going to get on TRT till I really need it, which I don't feel like I need it now. So, Jay, I got to ask why you're using the bands and chains if you're not going to do an equipped bench press. My understanding is that stuff only helps to break through like the second half of the rep on a bench, because the shirt helps spring you up. So then the rest of it locking out from the halfway point is more, they say, where the bands and chains come in, but maybe I'm mistaken. I never used them for any length of time. I'll play around with them at the gym to change up, but I don't have any plan when I use them. But I know Westside was big on them. And most powerlifting gyms use them. Thoughts on Dale always bragging about his material possessions? I don't know. Some people, hopefully they're going to be in the afterlife with me, and this isn't all there is for them. But somebody mentioned on one of my posts the other day when I talked about my heart a couple years ago that this world sucks, and if something makes you happy, just go all out, and if you die young. But I guess that's a lot of people's mentality. I like Jay likes the bands and chains. Keep stress off the pec while he builds strength. You gonna use one of the slingshots like Dale? I saw Dale did 405 for reps with the slingshot the other day. Dale's a material girl in a material world. Does fasting for 24 hours clean your body? John Meadows was a big proponent of that. He said it would like reset your digestive system or taste buds. I don't know. If you go 48 to 72, that's when that autophagy kicks in, like the cellular cleaning mechanism. But I mean, if you're weightlifting a lot, I think 16 to 18 hours is plenty. I wouldn't do consistent 24s unless you're just planning on taking off for like an extended period of time. Dale's V6 Mustang. It's nice. It's an older car. I'm not into cars, but why wouldn't you use a slingshot? He said it's the same principle, Jay, that it takes stress off the shoulders. Maybe not so much the pec, but guys with shoulder injuries. I never tried it. I don't know. I fasted. 2 days was the longest I fasted. Jay, you going to collab with Lenny at the new Powerhouse and film some training? I don't know. I'm waiting for an update to hear what's wrong with Lenny's cat. He said it hasn't eaten for 4 days. It has labored breathing. Doesn't sound too promising. So, would I wear a T-shirt that says athlete? Funny thing is, I got one of those shirts from that show I did, that Silverback crew. It says athlete on the back. They give it to all the competitors when you do Kevin DeHaven shows. Father said he was going to pick Lenny up to film with him and Prince last week, but he couldn't get up. Jeez. Lenny's not progressing the mints if he can't get up, Chase. My favorite bodybuilder currently, I don't have one. I don't watch any of it. If I had, I don't know, Nick Walker, but I don't think he'll ever win. He's not aesthetic enough. I think Lenny, he's up too late at night. I see sometimes I wake up, he sends text messages at early in the 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So he needs to get to bed on time. And then he can get up and go film with Jay and Prince. Dale puts a slingshot in his ankles. Yeah. I've heard that Arnold got calf implants. I don't know if it's true. Supposedly he was embarrassed of them. He used to take pictures in the water at the beach because he was ashamed of his small calves early on. Samurai Jack didn't make it. He was at work. Cornelius, again, didn't show up. I thought he was going to come train and show me some techniques. Lenny uploaded a video at 2 a.m. while Jay was waking up. Do I think Lenny would have been better off had he passed a while back? I don't think he hates being alive. He'll go when God takes him, Rando, not a second before, even if he's in horrible health condition. His mother needs him now, little Ethel the cat. So I'm sure he's depressed to an extent, aren't we all at some point in life? But no, I don't think it's better off that he's dead. No, we had lunch at a barbecue joint, and I headed back after I met up with Brad and Dale. I was raised Catholic, Jack. I did the communion, and then I stopped going to Catholic church when I was like 10 or 11. Bands and chains in the bedroom. Yeah, Lenny can attest to that at the dungeon by Olympic Heights. How was Brad looking in person? I wouldn't say bigger. He seems taller than, I don't know. What did he weigh? 205. I'm 210. He was wearing a big shirt. I don't know what kind of, he looks, for his age, he's going to be the same age as me. I mean, he's in shape. He walks a lot. I trained neck yesterday. That's why I did the Pinhead for the thumbnail, because on the live I did with Brad and Dale, somebody said I look like Pinhead from Puppet Master. A big body and a little head and neck. You're probably right, TJ. He takes his sleep seriously, but like I said, he probably should get to bed earlier. No, I never stood on top of a bench and did bent over rows. Lenny probably will outlive everybody. Everybody that's ever said he was going to die ended up dying before him. A couple bodybuilders. Nothing blows up on me fast anymore. I train neck once or twice a week, but I mean, I don't know how much I'm going to grow with a test of 376. But like I said, my quads grew a little from the recent routines I was doing. But I was actively trying to, progressively get stronger every week. Yeah, you're probably right, Pierce, with neck training. Probably like calves. You could probably do a lot of it because you don't realize how much you're using to keeping your head upright all day. Dating a nurse risky. Why would it be any more risky than any other gal? It's probably a good idea because if you have any health issues, the nurses are pretty knowledgeable. The Jamaican nurse used to shoot me and Lenny up. We didn't even feel it going in. She'd do our delts, our glutes. How are the gals lately? I don't know. You tell me, Chase. You're in Las Vegas. Four sets of 100 every day for neck. You say that works? So you don't add any weight? You're not doing the four-way neck machine? And Leo, truth one. Leo Longevity did all that research. Train around the injury. You got the collarbone injury, train your legs, whatever else you could train. You just have to improvise. If you got to do leg press, maybe you can't, load the weight on your traps because of the collarbone if it affects it. But you can do leg extension, leg curls. Try to do as much as you can. I wouldn't just cease training altogether. I don't watch the UFC anymore, Jack. I used to. 680 total test is about average. 250 to like 1100 is roughly the range here in the US. So you're in the middle. Free test is probably a better indicator, but how do you feel? I mean, like your libido, strength. But that's almost double what mine is, and I'm still able to train and do things. Drinking breast milk for bodybuilding. I don't know. Has anybody ever done that? There's a high dose of colostrum and immune boosting nutrients in there, I'm sure. Biden got lost on stage again. What else is new? All right, maniacs. I'm going to call it a night here. You guys need to let Lenny know when he does his lives that Father's waiting on him to collab with him and the Prince down at their powerhouse. He needs to get to bed early so he can get up in time to get down there. Good night. Have a good one. Yeah, I'll go live again either next week or the week after, hopefully. All right. Appreciate it.